Hi, I'm Jim Cook, and you're watching Reel-LIIFE, and I am with
Anthony Cabral.
And what's your film?
It's called Broke Juke. It's a short film about a woman dealing with loss.
Okay. So, tell us about what inspired you to make that film.
I actually worked with my partner on the project was the lead actress and the writer of the film. She also starred in the film. I'd worked with her about a year prior on a feature where she was acting in, and she approached me and said, "Hey, would you help me produce this little short that I wrote?" I said, "Sure." She's like, "I got a director, blah blah blah." A few weeks go by, my director's kind of flaking on me. "What do you think about directing?" And I said, "Sure." A few weeks go by, he goes, "He totally flaked out. Would you direct the movie?" I said, "Sure." 3 weeks later, we shot the movie, and I'm still working the festival circuit with it, and I'm very proud of it. So,
yeah, I was taking note of that, of the tone of your film. I was wondering how were you able to make that consistently. I don't want to say it was a dark film or what have you, but can you just talk more about the mood of the film?
sure. I guess the way that I took it, and I explained to my cinematographer, was as a color noir. It's kind of in the darkest places of a person trying to cope with loss, while at the same time, our bartender obviously has some kind of regrets that he's trying to overcome while trying to lighten our heroine's spirits. So loss, especially death in this situation, is a hard thing to overcome. And when you kind of want to lose yourself in something else, in this case, she's trying to lose herself in a song on the jukebox that keeps breaking. It's just the frustration that you can't escape reality. And in this case, it kind of culminates in that fact.
And what was the name of the song?
That's a really good question. Johnny Drake was actually a friend of my partner's, and he hadn't even released this new album yet, and we basically got 10 songs to listen to that had very random names, and we said, this one sounds like the dance song, and this one sounds perfect for our closing credits, which is why we picked 2 different songs. But God, I feel like such that guy.
No, don't worry about it. No, I was also curious about your chemistry with working with your actors, and maybe you can tell us more about the acting process, because it boils down to it was 3 characters, right?
Two characters.
Okay.
It's the bartender and my heroine, Dale and Deanne.
So, tell us about some of your directing process working with your cast.
In this one, it was actually, like I said, there was previously my partner who had written the film and was producing it, was acting in it. She had pretty much already picked a partner who was another. They're actually both comedically trained actors in Chicago, and so they had done lots of improv together and whatever else. And so Carissa picked Michael Rudley as her partner to be in this film, and so she says, at least talk to him and let's audition him to play this role. And if you don't like him, tell me, but I think you're gonna like it. So we sat down, we read the script. It was only 5 pages long. We went through it a few times, and sure enough, it was when you oddly can take a very comedic actor and basically very subtly bring out those nuances very dramatically, it pays off, and that's what I found.
Yeah, there's drama, there's tragedy in comedy, and vice versa. There's always a little bit of something in the opposite.
Oh, of course.
And so maybe you could tell us, we always like to know behind the scenes and stuff, so what was the most interesting day of shooting?
That would be our only day of shooting, actually. We shot for 1 day. I went out with my partner and a location manager, and we went to a dozen different bars in Chicago. And the moment that we walked into Jake's pub on Clark Street, we knew that was the place. It was the moment we walked in, we knew that's where we were going to do it. And luckily, the owners were very, very open for us to come in. We actually had call time at 3 o'clock in the morning when the bar was closing. So as patrons were leaving, we were loading in equipment, and we actually shot until 1:30 in the afternoon, and wrapped out, and we were done in a little less than 12 hours for the whole film. It was really specific what I wanted to see. The hardest part we had was actually the fact that the bar did not have a jukebox. And apparently acquiring a jukebox is a very, very tedious task. Okay. No matter where you shoot, and that was probably the hardest thing we found.
So how did you find it?
Actually, between my production designer and my location manager, who served as my production manager, they called about 36 places in 4 different states, seeing where we could procure a jukebox. And oddly, about an hour outside of Chicago, there was a gentleman who actually would buy old jukeboxes and refurbish them and so forth. And he let us come out and kind of take the look at what we wanted, and we kind of just gave him some cash up front, and we signed the deal, and he delivered it the day before, and that like earlier that Saturday, put it in. We came in, we shot the movie, and at actually 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he was there to pick it up, so we were like frantically scrambling to get the last couple shots of the jukebox out of the way, and he picked it up and hauled it back off again. So
I'm glad that worked out for you.
it was funny. He actually was like, "Well, this model is great, but it's kind of broken. One side doesn't really light up right," and we're like, "Broken, perfect." So it worked in our favor. But aesthetically, I mean, we knew we wanted that Wurlitzer style design, very classic, iconic kind of look for the jukebox itself, and going through so many variations of what. Jukeboxes back in the day were fantastic with the 45s, but you can't really find those models very often. And if you can, they're very, very expensive to rent. And with the limited resources that we had, we got very, very lucky.
No. Film looked great. Enjoyed watching it. Just one last question. How'd you hear about Life?
In fact, I was the first assistant director and also an associate producer on the film The Historian that was here in 2014.
Yes.
And won a handful of awards, which I know that the director and producer, Miles Dolek, is very, very proud of. And he spoke very, very highly of Life as it was. And so when I was beginning my festival jaunt, that was one of the first ones I fired off into the night. And in fact, while I was going to get all of my deliverables to Life 2015, I was with Miles again, working on his latest feature film, The Hollow, in Mississippi. So Life is a big part of our life.
Well, thank you for choosing Life.
Of course, thank you.
Have a good. Thank you.